Since its opening in 1993, the museum has been helping family members and loved ones learn more about those they lost in the Holocaust. I stopped by different divisions of the museum: research, photo archives, and conservation. I didn't know what to expect, but what I did find out was personally fascinating. At the photo archives division, I was able to get clarity on the dozens of images that I had on hand. We saw a postcard and were able to figure out that that was my grandmother as a baby, and cross-reference other images to find her sisters and her nieces. And most interestingly, we found out that there were 2 images that were already in photo archives from her hometown. They were images of her synagogue before and after Kristallnacht, when it was destroyed. The conservation staff was able to get me some background information on 2 of the most beloved objects in my family's collection. One was a Shabbat tablecloth used in the early 1900s. It was hand embroidered. The other was an egg cup made of tin, used for Passover. Both objects were supposedly saved from the very synagogue that we found in photo archives. Lastly, I met with a researcher, Joel Endecker, who presented me with a lot of really interesting information. First was a manifest that showed my 19-year-old grandmother fleeing Nazi Germany out of Genoa, Italy. At 19, she was leaving the country to go across the ocean to another country she'd never been to before to live. I can't even imagine what somebody at that age was going through. And with the help of our German research partners, she came across something pretty fascinating.
In the post-war period, your grandfather contacted a lawyer who then sought information about his family. And he sends this envelope and says, "This is the last correspondence that we have from my mom." She wrote this envelope to Leo in the care of Blumenfeld.
Blumenfeld being my grandmother's maiden name. I assumed once they were here in the US, that was it. They didn't talk to anyone ever again. They never heard anything from anyone. I didn't know when anyone died. What this means is not only was he corresponding with his mother knew who he was dating.
Not just dating, but dating the woman that he was going to marry, have children with.
Yeah.
And then the whole family continues on.
Yeah.
This is every family's story.
A lot of times when we talk about the Holocaust, it's a lot of numbers and places and things, and it's interesting to hear it in such a way where the individual tells the story. That envelope alone tells a great deal of information, which I never had before. I don't think anybody in my family had before. Mere weeks after that letter was sent, my great-grandmother and my grandfather's sister were deported and executed in Latvia. The museum staff was incredibly helpful. They gave me details I never knew before. Just being able to see a name and a photo and put them together was just fascinating to me. But after leaving the museum, I still didn't feel whole. It felt like something was still missing, like there was something left that I still had to do. As chance would have it, I end up traveling to Germany and meeting with the International Tracing Service. While I'm there, I get to explore where my grandparents grew up.